Can someone, please for the life of me, explain how in the hell did the GTA Trilogy quote-unquote Definitive Edition sell over 10 million copies? Because I don't understand it. Rockstar didn't even show any gameplay footage of the game before its disastrous release. They only showed a 25-second trailer before said release, and that was about a month, maybe 4 weeks before in advance. And then when the game came out, it was worse than Cyberpunk 2077, yet people still forked over $60 for the game. Now the main reason why I didn't buy it in the first place was because not the fact that I didn't like the trilogies. In fact, I can see why people like the trilogies because I wasn't allowed to play it, but at the same time, I can easily find an ISO file or a ROM file and play it on an emulator, or better yet than that, I can actually get a really cheap version of the actual Definitive Edition of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas and play it on my PlayStation 2 that I still had since I was a baby. But despite those two options that I just listed to you guys, people still felt the need to fork over $60 for this garbage can of a remaster made by a mobile game studio and literally one of the worst gaming studios I have ever seen that's in Rockstar Games' camp. But the real question that we should all be asking is that why the fuck did this sell 10 million copies in the first place? I knew from the get-go that this was a clear as day cash grab. Other YouTubers, clear as day, thought it was a cash grab too. Yet we had multiple warnings about how the game could possibly turn out with the trailers that we got. The screenshots didn't make it any better, and the entire fact that Rockstar was radio silent before the release of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Remaster, yet it came out so trash and people still fell for the trap. You people know good and well that this was a clear cash grab, yet you people still gave Rockstar your money, just like the suckers that you are. And the part that I'm trying to wrap my head around the most is that why the fuck would people fall for this trap? Like, what is wrong with us in the gaming industry? And really, when it comes down to remasters nowadays, it's not about making an actual definitive experience and recapturing the nostalgia and the true down-to-earth gameplay that these classic games have. It's really more about riding off of the nostalgia off of your paying customers, because that's what remastering games nowadays in 2022 really is. And the part that makes even less sense about this whole remastering thing is that for pretty much the most part, when it comes down to remasters, we pretty much only fall in line when Rockstar Games do it. What makes Rockstar Games so special? Why don't we fall in line or bow down when any other game company remaster their game? Like, do you guys see the point in the comparison that I'm trying to make here? Actual remakes and remasters that is worth the time of day and is actually worth the spotlight gets overshadowed and pushed aside like some B-list celebrity every single time when Rockstar Games put out something. That doesn't make any sense.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
And another great example that I always like to throw around when it comes to this kind of debate is Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2. When the first two Yakuza games first came out on the PlayStation 2, they came out in 2005 and 2006. It was basically bare bones open world games. And I don't even think that they were open world in the sense, but they were extremely limited. You guys get the picture. Then when Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 came out, which is complete down to earth, completely remade remakes, right? They came out in 2016, and then Yakuza Kiwami 2 came out in 2017. And then get this, right? Not only did they rebuild the game from the ground up, give it better graphics, better textures, better game modes, included new game modes, included new characters as well, but they also included a brand new Majima Everywhere system that the original PS2 version did not have, right? And despite all these features that I just listed to you, Sega only put it up for sale for $30.
You serious?
And the same goes for Yakuza Kiwami 2. And you know what else they did with Yakuza Kiwami 2? Not only did they include better graphics than Kiwami, they also included a brand new engine that later on went to feature on in Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. And yet despite that, Sega still put out the game for $30 fucking on the marketplace. So what excuse does Rockstar have for putting out 3 games for $60 and it's not even a definitive edition? And also, the one thing that I have noticed is that it's pretty much become the norm to pay full price $60 or $70, depending on where you live, at every single remaster that's put out on the market. And it's not just the small indie developer remasters, right? You can, like I said, you can literally go to Rockstar Games Social Club launcher where they're actually charging still $60 for this atrocity of a definitive edition, and I would still be expected to pay full price for games that came out damn near 20 years ago and it's not even fully remade or even an actual definitive edition. How on God's green and blue earth did this shit become the norm?
How, Sway?
And despite everything that I just said to you and also provided examples for you in this video, people will still go out and buy the definitive edition of these 3 trilogies, despite the fact that they are not in fact the definitive edition, but in fact worse than the originals, and really badly too. But Jesus Christ, dude, when it comes down to nostalgia and when it comes down to video games that is getting remastered, the Rockstar Games fanboys is the absolute worst. Not only will they buy the game at full price without question, but it will also get to the point where if it inevitably fails and everybody is comparing to the original, which is indeed better than this newer version, they will go and defend Rockstar at any cost that they are given. And by the way, I am not making this up, right? When I was watching Dark Space's review and inevitable breakdown on the Defective Edition that was the GTA Trilogy remastered by 20 people in Grove Street Games, there was a Rockstar Games fanboy in the comments that was actually being dead serious about defending and white knighting Rockstar Games, despite the fact that it was a 30-minute in-depth review video. It still felt the need to simp and white knight and defend this garbage game. And not only that, right, he also had the audacity to call us haters and also say that Dark Space was throwing around misinformation and misleading fans.
Huh?
What the actual fuck is wrong with you?
You're not as good as you f***ing think you are!
Now let me get this straight. We are called haters because we paid $60 for a garbage video game that was unfinished, and we inevitably critique it and call out Rockstar Games for being money hungry that they are, but yet you will actually live stream this game on your PlayStation 5 that probably your mama bought for you since you live in her basement, right? But then you don't get paid not one dime by Rockstar Games for simping and white knighting and green lighting their products that they inevitably put out that is garbage. Really talking all this mess in the comments like a keyboard crip that you are, but yet you can't even put 20 views of video.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And for the life of me, I just don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. And this, in my mind, is the absolute #1 example of consumerism and the things that you will end up owning you. And yet somehow, some way in 2022, it is the norm with game companies like Rockstar and EA.